Sheila, thanks for joining us. You attended the closing ceremonies in Gatineau earlier this week. How do you feel now that it's over, and what are your thoughts on the final report?
It was mixed emotions for me to be there. I was really happy to see Indigenous women and girls and Two-Spirited and being honored in the way that they were. They did it very, very nicely. And the report, of course, highlighted a lot of the concerns that many Indigenous women and girls and families affected by the issue of missing and murdered Indigenous women, and of course survivors. So in a way, that's very good that that happened. But of course, you know, I talked to people back home here in Manitoba, and some of them were concerned that there was so much money spent on this process that wasn't always kind to them, and they're saying that they're still struggling after the fact, and that they could have used the resources better on the ground than what they see and produced, what was produced out of the inquiry process.
Right. That said, are there certain calls for justice you would like to see implemented swiftly?
Well, I think all of them, because all of them are practical and they make sense. And I think that the government has the will and the power to be able to implement, if not all of them, at least half of them. And a lot of them have to do with dignity and respect for Indigenous women and girls. That's a basic thing, and their basic human rights are being violated daily, and they're not given the economic stability that they so deserve to make them less vulnerable. So all of those recommendations to me speak to the aspects of giving the respect that Indigenous women and girls deserve in their own country. And so I think that the government has the power and the will to do that. And I know that the two ministers, former ministers of the inside government, had a lot of conversations with the Prime Minister in the office about some of these recommendations even before this report. And so I know that the Prime Minister's office and the government knows that these are practical steps, but it's just, you know, we're going to see how far they're willing to go with it all.
The inquiry calls it genocide, and certainly it's something we've been hearing from Indigenous peoples for years, but why do you think so many are quick to dismiss those findings?
I think a lot of people are offended and taken back because sometimes the truth hurts. And, you know, it's easy for people that don't live and breathe the situations every day and have to think about it and deal with it every day. They won't get it. And I'm sure that, you know, people felt that way when things were happening to, you know, in other cultures and where genocide has been termed and used. I'm sure there was a period of time that people disputed the accounts and the facts. But time is going to tell. History is going to show what happened to our Indigenous women and girls these past decades, well, actually since, you know, colonialism started to happen up until now. There has been a direct attack on Indigenous women and girls, and whether people want to admit to that or not in the greater public, then they'll just have to, you know, live with that until they realize what has actually happened, and you know, time will show that.
Sheila, we'll have to leave there, but appreciate you sharing your thoughts with us.
Thank you very much.